Hey y'all, I've been out here working on this pine tree right here. It's about, I'm guessing it's about 3 feet across in the center, just straight through it. It's a nice specimen pine tree. It's on the border of our property, right at my driveway. And then I've got another one right there, another one down there, and another one down there. And they just go right straight down the road here on my side of the property. They border the property all the way around. And this one here, I don't know if you can see that. It's poison ivy growing all up in it right there. And it goes way up. And so I've been working on getting all the poison ivy out of it. And you see I've dug all the way around right here. I got that ditch right there filled full of small feeler vines. And the ground here is all covered in it. It's really prevalent right here. And it's been climbing all up this tree for years and years. There's some of it right there. It's climbing up the hairy vine, going up. And I just started dragging the root out. And this is the main part of the root right here. Part of it's still in the ground, but this is right here is the crown of it. And let's see, I've got one piece that stretches out. Oh, that's a good 20 feet long right there. Easily 20 feet. Then I've got another one that broke off of the crown. This is it right here. And it, right now, let's see, that's 5 foot. And that's 10 foot. And I still got to come bring it up out of the ground. So there's 15 feet of it right to there. Just keep on going. All this piled up stuff right here that you see. I don't know if you can even see that. It's because of the sun. Maybe you can see it from this side better. Yeah, all that stuff right there that's piled up. That's all roots. That's all poison ivy roots. A little bit of pine needles mixed in with it, but the majority of it is, I would say about 80 to 85% of it is all roots. It's all poison ivy right there. I got out here Monday and I weed eated that whole area right there that you see the sun shining on, that I've got dug up. This whole area. I weed eated it to get all the green leaves off of the poison ivy. You take it back down to the ground again. And in the process of doing that, right here in this little pocket right here, I, you know those greenbrier, thorny, whatchamajiggers, that right there. I've got a bunch of those around the tree also that I'm digging up. And in this pocket right here, let me show you what I pulled out of there. See if I can get it in the shade here so that you can see it better. Oh Lord. Take it out here on the road. Sorry for the shaky camera. But this all came out of that pocket. This is the tuber that's on the end of that thorny briar. And there's 4 separate pieces here. Well, 5 separate pieces here. I got that one. Let me back this off. Yeah. Well, let me zoom in on it maybe. Maybe that's better. Okay. This one here is oh, let's see. It's almost 16 inches long. Just a bunch of knotty tuber looking things. They look like potatoes. There's one right there that the skin is coming off. It looks just like a potato. Then I got this one right here. And you can see these things are as big as my hand. And here's another one. Here's another one. So that's 3 of those. This one is twice the size, or maybe 3 times my hand. And this one over here is probably 5 times my hand. But that all came out of the one pocket in the ground. Now I've heard, I don't know for sure, I'm going to do a little more research on it. I know that on that green thorny vine, can't for the world of me can't remember the name of it. It's some kind of briar, some kind of thorny briar. But I've got one right here that's as big around as my finger that I'm going to have to dig up. Down at the bottom down there, it's as big around as my thumb. But it goes all the way up the tree. And it's, well, up beside the tree actually. And it just goes and goes and goes. But I know that the tips of that plant in the early to mid-spring, the very tips of that plant are edible. It's a good survival food. Here's the, this is what the leaves look like on it. They're kind of almost shamrock shaped, but not. And the very tips of the plant are really, really tender, and they're good to eat. They're a good source of survival food. For anybody that's into survivalism and stuff like that during an SHTF. And I've heard that these tubers are also edible. And like I said, I don't know, but I'm going to do a little more research on it and find out if they are. What I heard was that, and I heard this from somebody that was a survivalist, Dave Canterbury, as a matter of fact, I believe is who told me that, said that you can peel the skin off of these things, peel the outer brown off of them, and that you can cook them just like potatoes. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to find out, because that's a mess of them right there. That'd be a lot of starch, a lot of carbs. But I'm going to take these tonight, and I'm going to put them in I've got a 5-gallon or a 55-gallon, no, 30-gallon garbage can in the back of the house that we tried to grow potatoes in one year. That didn't turn out too good, but I'm gonna drop these in there with some good soil and try to keep them alive. And then after I research it and find out whether or not they actually are an edible source, then I'll keep them growing. But I've got them all through that whole section of the fence line right there. They're all up through there. And down in that end down there also. So, but anyway, that's what I'm out here doing today. I've been out here since about 11 o'clock this morning, getting all this ripped up and pulled out. I use a 4-pronged rake, whatever you call these things. I use this to pretty much just kind of break the soil and get the roots started coming out. Once I get it down to a certain point that this no longer is doing anything but just ripping up the ground, then as long as I've got it loosened up, that's the main thing. That's part of the battle, or the biggest part of the battle, is just getting the ground loosened up so that the roots can actually be pulled through. And then I've got these Harbor Freight sandblasting gloves. They're long. They come up to about my elbow. And that's what I put on to pull it out of the ground. They're pretty good because they've got some kind of a roughed up rubber material on the end, so they grip really good, especially on anything that's kind of slippery. They grip really well. And so I pull all the vines and stuff out of the ground with that, all the poison ivy. Of course, I don't touch the hands on them with my bare hands. And I wear these I don't know what they call these things. They're just garden gloves, I guess. I don't know. They got some kind of little vinyl dots all over them and stuff. But I use those. I use those to put my hands inside these gloves, because when I've tried putting these gloves on just by themselves, and my hands sweat a lot when they're inside these gloves. So putting these gloves on first and then putting them inside these makes it a lot easier. They don't sweat near as bad. But that's what I use. I grab those gloves, put those on, and then I get down to the nitty-gritty and start grabbing all that stuff, all that little vine and stuff right there. Just grab it by the handfuls and throw it in the ditch over there. Anyway, just thought I'd show y'all what I was doing. Have a good one.